Sorry, damn it. What we're doing is we're taking action in a way that we can control, right? Every person, we've sat with really inspired leaders. Well, there comes this.
Good perfect timing.
I timed that. We've sat with doctors that blow your mind. You sit with these people that have literally changed the lives of thousands of people. You sit with people that have started big businesses, and you think these people have made billions of dollars. People that have made these huge impacts on things, and you always imagine that they're different, right? You imagine that in some way they got given this package that made it easy, or that made it possible. And so what the walk is about is us each going, you know what? We can't wait on somebody else or something else or some moment that happens to be so convenient that then we can be great, right? That one day we're going to show up and it's going to happen. And, being young guys that have run this little business, this band for a lot of years since we were kids, we realize that nothing comes easy. But what's so awesome is that so many of you guys have joined us time after time, or maybe it's your first time, and you've given the thing that nobody else can give, which is your time and your bare feet, your legs, your feet, your presence. You guys showed up. Showing up is such a huge part of making something happen, whatever it is. What's going on in Africa, we'll probably be talking about extreme poverty, HIV/AIDS, for a long time. But even since this started, the walk campaign started in 2007, and we have walked hundreds of times all over the country. We've now seen more people organize walks outside of Hanson. People have organized that we haven't been there, right? You guys, people like you. And we should give some love for that. People that have gotten together and organized. Now, if you go to the Take the Walk site, you can be somebody that decides to organize. Each of these walks, our theme is, you guys have, in all these cases, you sponsored us. You basically brought us to this town. You decided to go get a ticket. And so during this mile, we're sponsoring you guys. We're giving $1 for everybody that's here. And that $1 is significant because $1 goes a long way when you're talking about someone living on less than that per day, period. We're talking about, what do you need to eat? What do you need to put food on the table? What percentage of that $1 goes to education? And you can decide how that $1 gets used. Does it go to buy some medicine that a young mom needs when she has HIV, and that 35 cent a day drug, it's going to contribute to buy multiple days of that. 35 cents a day, she does that for a month. That 98% of the women that take that drug for a month will not transmit HIV to their unborn child. Do you guys know think about that? Any girls that have babies? Anybody have kids? Yeah. There's a couple. Okay, you're pregnant, you know that you have a disease that will kill your child. And somebody says, for $40 worth of medicine, I'm going to almost guarantee that won't happen. Okay? Right? It's pretty powerful. I have 5 kids. I know I would have taken my right and my left arm off for that. But this right here, you're doing that. Just happen to be walking the streets with Hanson, but you're actually getting something done. Isn't that awesome? Okay? You're building schools, maybe. Did anybody check education off when they? Okay. Did anybody click on water? Did anyone check water? Okay, that's clean water. If that young mom takes that medicine and she doesn't transmit that disease, she still has to ask, well, how do I get formula to feed my baby? Okay, that clean water might be the thing that makes sure that that child can grow and thrive. Next is education. Next is a pair of shoes for dignity and for pride. Who put down shoes? Anybody get shoes? Okay, there's like 3 shoes here. But the point is, it is not about huge numbers. It's not about massive crowds and grand speeches. This is not about this idea of it being trendy or hip to go give or to go volunteer for some program. It's not about a stinking band. I was going to use something else. I was like, I'll make sure. This is about you guys. You guys are the power. You are the power brokers, and we are the ones that are going to set the tone for how our kids get involved in the world. And I say that particularly, I'm sorry I'm going long-winded here, but I say that particularly because when we first went to Africa, we were not there as a band. We were just there like anybody. We were meeting people, we were talking to people, we were inspired by friends of ours. And what we saw was there is a shift happening. And that shift is because of things like that phone, the exchange of technology, the shrinking globe, the ability to go, I want to know that hospital, I want to go to build that school, I want to talk to that business that's going to put shoes on that community's feet. And you guys we are the wave that's watched that happen. Our kids will never know what it's like to not be able to Google something. What's that guy's name? Everything. You can Google anything. You can find anything. And we have the ability to set the tone that says, you know what, with this new information, the ability to connect with one another, the ability to find out how to go directly to the problem, we're going to get it done this way. And even since we started the Take the Walk campaign, we have seen a shift in the contribution of money towards HIV antiretroviral drugs in these communities. You've seen the shift in microloans, which are lots of people giving a little bit and then helping one person start a business or move themselves forward. You've watched this happen. It's already begun to change. The statistics are changed by reality, by truth, by action. And you guys, like with a company like Tom's Shoes, did anybody do a walk on the first tour that we were on? Anybody walk on the first Take the Walk tour? Okay, those Tom's Shoes that you guys helped talk about, we sold 50,000 shoes with them that first year. That was the most they'd ever sold. Every one of those meant a pair of shoes were given. Now they've sold millions of shoes. You guys were among the very first people, and Blake that started that company will tell you, Hanson and their fans and their people that were walking with him, and every one of those walks, that's a huge part of what made it possible for Tom's to reach a lot of people. And now that has meant millions of shoes, okay? Millions of shoes that were not there before, all right? That's pretty badass. It's a real thing that happened. It's no fluff. It's an actual action of you guys walking through the streets of places like New Orleans today. So thank you guys for walking. Thanks for putting your feet on the ground. I would encourage you, and I'm not going to browbeat you because a lot of you guys traveled and come to see shows and it's awesome. But the whole point of walking barefoot, it's not for me. It's actually for you. It's for each of us. And just being here is great, but the barefoot point is when you finish this walk, if you don't think a little bit longer about what it's like to not have a pair of shoes, or to wake up without clean water, or to wonder whether you're going to ever learn how to even spell your name because you've never been around any community that gives you the tools of education, then you're not paying attention. You're gonna have a very different thought at the end of this mile in New Orleans. You look down and you say,
to do with, taking a picture of someone.
yeah, you got to feel the dirt in your toes, exactly. And besides, I want to be able to say who's got dirty feet and have a lot of people say yes. Who's got some dirty feet? All right, let's finish this walk. You guys ready? I want to hear you say, let's walk! Let's walk!